Alexandro.
¿Aló?
Bienvenido a España, encantado de conocerte. Soy Víctor de 35 milímetros. La primera pregunta que te quería hacer es, en el piso de la familia Galitzin hay unas puertas que tienen el cartel de no traspasar. ¿Es una manera de denunciar que los que estamos al otro lado del vidrio no renunciamos a nuestra vida tranquila por ayudar a quien la necesita?
Hi, Alexandros. My first question is, in the flat, in the apartment, you show the Galitzin families. There are doors where it's forbidden to enter. Actually, they have locks. Is it a way to show that we, the other ones, are not willing to give up our quiet room?
Yes, very good point. You know, when the first title of the film was Apathy. You know, it was also how the syndrome was called, you know, in Sweden. But we found it that at the end it wasn't reflected in the film as it was in the script. And then we decided to choose Quiet Life after a long procedure, you know, and brainstorming. And I found it very interesting because Quiet Life is the life that the refugees would like to live or to have, or is the life of the Europeans that doesn't want to be disturbed. And in this feeling, you know, in the opening scene with the doors and everything, it creates the feeling of don't disturb us, but on the other hand also you're not allowed to use everything you see, so you are controlled. You live in a big beautiful flat, but it doesn't belong to you, so you are visitors. So, and this will change only if you become Swedish citizens or you're going to have the asylum. So that was the beginning of the film.
En el hospital, la enfermera les enseña a los padres a sonreír. ¿Qué relación estableces entre el Estado y el hospital?
The mood coach in the hospital.
The mood coach?
Yes, mood coach, yes. What is, she teaches them how to smile. What is the relationship in your mind, in the film, between the state and the parent?
You know, this scene is very ambivalent. It works for both sides. I mean, for the parents and for the state, because, you know, the parents in this limbo situation, they are living for so long time, waiting for the decision on their asylum application. They forget to be parents. You know, they forget to smile. They are too stressed. You know, starting their lives. And on the other hand, and this is the approach from the state. You know, we have to remember how is to smile, how is to be positive again. They even change the way, the position of the body, you know, because they forget they are always like this, looking down, because they are hit from life. And on the other hand, it's humiliating, it's super torturing them, you know, from the parents' aspect when they know that their child is in the hospital, they pretend to be. It's like telling, you know, talking about the political correctness, and it doesn't matter what happens, you have to smile, everything should look positive.
No hables del pasado, no mencionéis el asilo, no habléis de vuestros problemas ni de vuestra ansiedad. Estos son los consejos que le dan a los padres para que su hija, con síndrome de resignación, mejore. A tu juicio, Alexandros, ¿quién es el culpable de esta enfermedad? ¿El sistema o el estrés de los padres?
It's a bit tricky question, you know.
Do not speak about the past. Do not mention the past. Do not mention that you're worried. Do not mention that you're stressed. Do not mention anything that could. That's what they tell the parents, right?
Yes.
You have to be perfect. But in your opinion, Alexandros, who is responsible for the resignation syndrome? The state, the system, or the parents?
You know, if you follow these rules of the mood coach, then you become the perfect robot. It's the best way to become a robot. The person who is responsible for it, for the syndrome, I think is the state. But on the other hand, the state gives asylum to all the people. And this is what we explore also in the film, because I don't want to spoil it, just between us. The first kid falls in apathy because of the system, the second falls because of the mistake of the parents, because they thought they have no other way to approach it, and they convince the girl. So it's like it's almost philosophical. The question is like, who is the first, the chicken or the egg? Or the egg and the chicken? It's like the same question repeating ourselves, but the reply on that is that we have to remain human beings, not robots. And then I think empathy and humanity and love and hope, first of all, can really change things, because now we live in a situation or in a world full of terror. You know, you have to be afraid of the virus, you have to be of the epidemic, you have to be afraid, and on top of that, you have to smile on this horror. So it feels a little bit strange for me.
Para Edmund Burke, el contrato social era un pacto intergeneracional, lo cual implicaba una responsabilidad hacia las generaciones futuras. ¿Crees que se ha roto este contrato?
For Edmund Burke, Edmund Burke, right? Edmund Burke, right? Edmund Burke. Edmund Burke.
Edmund Burke. In German also Burke.
Burke,
Yeah, Burke.
Okay. Ah, that's right. Yeah.
It's Club, not club. Club.
Yeah, Club. Edmund Burke. Edmund Burke.
Yeah.
The pact was parents were supposed to do everything for their children, right? To offer a future to their children, to seek a future for their children. Do you think that this pact has been broken?
To see that?
Do you think that the pact, that the responsibility has been broken?
No, I think these parents also, the father of the family that decided to do a revolution, you know, against the regime back in Russia, is trying to do everything for his family, you know, for the kids for his kids to have a better life, a better future, you know, out of dictatorship that it was in the time, you know, in Russia, and I think it still is. And also, as a second decision was to bring them in a model country where the rights are accepted and when, you know, they're willing to help people. And he did that because he wanted to help his children. Although, I think, looking so much in the future, he lost the present. And the present is difficult for these children, although they have a better life in Sweden for the time being, but a future that's unstable and not secure, let's say. But his first emotions was to do everything for his family. It's not that, and it's also a question in the film, if a revolutionary person or a rebel is doing this for himself or for the society, and it's a discussion that always remains unreplied.
¿Qué significa ser un refugiado? ¿Podemos convertirnos en un futuro todos en uno?
What does being a refugee mean? Could we all become refugees in the future?
Of course.
This
is how it looks. I mean, there is a extreme climate change very fast. There are wars happening around us. Instead of, you know, there is always two wars happening. That doesn't mean, and at the time there are much more, and this creates a feeling of insecurity. If it happens in Ukraine, it could happen everywhere in Europe. And the life is becoming so expensive every day. So I mean, everybody can be a refugee or an immigrant, let's say, you know, and going to another country to live or apply for asylum. So I think, yeah, everybody can be. And this is also why we decide to do this film, and why we decide to have the Russians, or let's say Caucasian, you know, not from Syria or Afghanistan or whatever, because we don't want also to use the religion as a parameter in the thing. It's like we're cousins, and you know, all Europeans or close to Europe, but on the other hand, we face a faceless government or system. Does this reply?
Con esperanza, teniendo esperanza, ¿es imposible tener el síndrome de la resignación?
if you have hope, it's impossible to
Yes.
suffer.
This is also the meaning of the film. You know, at the end of the day, we're living in a society of 2025, and we have cancer. We have cured the cancer. We have computers. We have gone to the moon or whatever it is. But still, this disease or this syndrome, you know, needs only hope to be cured. There is nothing else that can cure outside of hope and safety. And I think it's also what we're missing, you know, it's the end of ideologies, and it's a strange world, you know, we don't know what to hope. It's to buy a better clothes, to buy a better car. This is not real hope, you know, it's like illusions.
¿Cómo crees que en Europa está afectando la pérdida de valores comunes?
How do you think Europe is being touched by the fact that we're losing common values, you know, values that we shared before as a people? We have values in common.
Or do you think that is not true? That we have values in common.
What do you mean with common values? I mean, it's a
Common
question.
values,
Sí, mira,
for
que
example.
en la película persiguen a Sergei por promover el pluralismo, la democracia, la libertad de expresión, si cree que están en peligro.
Yeah, and Sergei, I mean, has to leave Russia because he wants more freedom, right? Freedom of speech, freedom of being able
But
to
supposedly we live in a very safe European Union, and we are free to speak, and we are free to do and to move and to have the same common, you know, currency and everything. So normally we have everything, but still there is always a big terror and horror coming to us. You know, the epidemic was there to remind us that we can die in every second. You know what I mean? And something that you don't see. It's not a weapon. It's not a panzer. You know, it's like a virus. You know. So I'm not sure what do you mean. I think there are no big ideologies. It's the end of it, of course, and it's now time to replace it with something. And I think we're going further away from our, you know, potential possibilities as human beings, you know, by dehumanizing ourselves and creating an image that it's like, okay, you know, to introduce ourselves with a fake image, and instead of be honest and truthfully to each other.
Y por último, ¿querías retratar que las verdaderas víctimas de las guerras son los niños? ¿Es este el mensaje de la película?
And the last question, did you want to show that through the film that the true victims of the war were children?
Of course.
Sí.
This is obvious. I mean, it's very clear. It's, you know, it's this is the end of the film, that the children, the next generation, is there to save us, and so we have to protect it, you know, and to create a better environment for them, because they are poor victims. It's our mistakes, it's adults' mistakes, and not the children's.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure, and good
Thank
luck.
you. Yes.
A message for our readers for 35 Milímetros to see the movie.
I'm not good in it, so let's keep it.
Perfect.